Hello, everyone. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting, and job fairs are starting to happen. Thank goodness. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. I don't want to go to a job fair. It's just a bunch of hourly jobs that I am not interested in. I am looking for a director of procurement or a whatever. Well, we're going to talk a little bit today about how these in-person job fairs can still bring a lot to your job search, even if they're not hiring for any positions right there that you may be interested in. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that now and hit that bell for notifications. We have additional live events coming up on not only your job search, but on career development. And you can get notified of all of those by just hitting that bell. If you haven't connected with me yet on LinkedIn, feel free to do that as well. We do also share a lot of information now through LinkedIn Live. All right, let's talk about these job fairs. And you have to make choices as a job seeker as to what is the best use of your time. And you may say, oh, it's a job fair. It's going to be, it's an 8-hour job fair. And I see all the positions that they have posted, and they're hiring for positions which may be great jobs, but don't necessarily align with what I am looking for. They may be jobs that are commercial drivers or people working, in an Amazon factory or something like that. And you may be looking for a role like a director of procurement. Should you go to that job fair or not? Well, before you make the decision to say, no, I don't see any jobs on here that I'm interested in, stop and look at the companies that are coming to the job fair. You should by now in your job search process, unless you're just starting out, have target companies. And these are companies that you really are interested in joining. And it may be ones because they are very geographically close to you. It may be ones that align as far as mission with you or have a great focus on whatever. If you're a Python expert and they use Python, then you want to do that. If they are a Lean Six Sigma, very heavy, and you want to do that, you should know some companies, and it shouldn't be like 2 or 3. I always say with your target companies, you should have a little bit broader target, especially when some of those target companies are smaller companies, because they may not have openings as much, but you want to make sure that you're continually on their radar and they're on yours. And so you understand if they all of a sudden are going to be doing a huge hiring initiative or other changes are happening in the company that might have an opening that you're going to be very interested in. But take the time before you say no to these job fairs to go out and do some research and look and see what is the list of these target companies. Now you're saying to yourself, okay, great, that's wonderful. Microsoft's going to be there, but they're hiring for this manufacturing plant and they're really not interested in hiring beyond that for this event. I get that and I understand that. And I also understand that your time is valuable. However, you generally have people at these job fair events from either, sometimes it is hiring managers, but most times it's some type of talent acquisition, HR individuals that are there. Even if there is hiring managers, there's usually other people there together. You don't have to go to every single company that is at this job fair. But if you take the time to visit and talk with each and every one of the ones that are at your target company, you're taking the time to build a network. And this is something that you can use, if not at this instant, later on. Once you meet somebody at a job fair, and even if the best case scenario is you get them to give you a business card, right? And then you say, I'd love to, send you my resume, or I'd love to stay connected with you. Would it be okay to trade cards? And you should have networking cards. If you don't have job seeker networking cards, go watch the video on that because those are crazy important. But being able to trade that card is so critical. And then you have an email address. And then you also have the naming convention for their email for everybody else that's in the company. Now, let's say even you can't get their business card. They didn't bring them. They're not giving them out, whatever. If you can get the first and last name, you can still connect on LinkedIn. You can still send them an invitation and say, I met you at the job fair. Really appreciate the time that you took speaking with me. Would love the opportunity to connect with you for the future. Don't ask them for a job in the invite, but ask for the connection. And then you're building your network in your target company. Now, when we're talking about job fairs, I mean, that is a huge added bonus. And this becomes even more important depending on the size of the city that you live in. So I live in Houston, which is fourth largest in the US. So it's a big city and there's tons and tons of companies here. But not everybody does. And some of you live in much smaller cities. Sorry, I couldn't speak there. And if you live in a smaller city, what usually happens is your list of target companies is a lot smaller if location is important to you. So these smaller job fairs can be just as important. Now, know when you're going to these job fairs, there's usually, and especially right now, oh my goodness, there are tons of people available, right? There are tons of people available. So it's going to be a talent acquisition team that is overwhelmed by the number of candidates. So when you're going and you're thinking about that, think in your head too that you're not going to get 5-10 minutes with these people. You're probably going to get a minute or less, unless it's just a really slow job fair. Now, how can you extend that time? Well, of course, there's always times in the very beginning and the very end where it tends to be a little bit slower. If you're one of the first ones through the door, they tend to have a little bit more time to talk to you. If you are towards the end of the day, but not too close to the end of the day, you tend to have more time that people will talk to you. Now, when I say don't go too close to the end of the day, in almost every job fair that I have gone to, which has been tons, what happens is they get tired, right? Especially if it's been a crazy busy one that there's been hundreds of people. And what happens is they get so tired that they start packing up a little bit early. And so you don't want to be that one that's stopping them from packing up. But if you can hit one of those lower times. Now, I will tell you, I did see a job, I think it was here in Houston, NBC, the local NBC News affiliate was doing a job search with another group. And they had a huge group of employers there that were more restaurants and things like that focused. And it was a ghost town. And there were not a lot of job seekers there. And they were actually a little shocked about it. I don't know if it ended up picking up later in the day for them or not. But when you have smaller companies attending job fairs and you're talking to the actual owners or general managers and stuff like that, you tend to get a lot more time with them. And so if you have the time and you think you can carve this out from your job search, and especially if you're in a smaller town, the more time that you can go in and network with some of those people, the better off you will also be. All right, job seekers, it's getting better every single day. That right job is out there for you. Please, if you have any questions or comments on this, put it down below in a comment. Please, as always, share this information with other job seekers. Help us trying to get the word out and let everybody know that we're all in this together. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.